45 minutes into the
Or-
conversation.
So, no, Tom Wolfe is he's got a real predicament on his hands, and it makes me wonder if Tom Wolfe believes in fate at this point. For
Oh.
me, yes, because I believe that if you take 2020 into account, you cannot possibly prosper if you believe in fate, because otherwise you look at the circumstances and you say, well, I get what I get, and it can't, so you can't listen to reason. You can't possibly follow anything the CDC says. You have to, and it's sort of what makes, it's what makes a lot of the area that we're in this, because it's predominantly they were predominantly Trump voters.
Very red, yeah. It's very red area. Yeah, I agree with that to a point. I don't know, like, fate versus destiny or whatever the fucking argument is. Like, what would you call the opposite of fate? Like
chance.
Luck is for losers. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I believe. I feel like I'm just wandering aimlessly through this fucking insano world right now, and I don't know what to do with myself,
Well, I don't want to quote Harvey Dent or anything like that, but at least chance is fair.
True.
And there's a realistic expectation that, like, with fate, that you're entitled to something. What has 2020 taught you about feeling entitled?
Oh man, it'll get swiped right out of your fucking hands. You're not entitled to dick.
Like, you're catching a chin check if you think, and again, by the way, that is not some sort of, like, Nick Mullen, like unfortunately racist character, but it's although I do see him, I see his costume right now, so maybe I end up sliding into his DMs. I'll let him know I don't have TB. I found that out today, by the way. So every day is a positive.
You don't have a TB?
I don't have a tuberculosis.
Well, then that's not a positive, my friend. That's a negative, which is in turn a positive. So
let's be fair. If I believed in fate and I believed that a negative was a positive, how am I supposed to feel about this?
I don't know. I've lost the lead here somewhere.
Well, it's because we buried it along with 233,000 Americans.
Is that all? Fuck them, right?
With Derek and Jeremy.
They don't mean shit. They're nothing.
Well, if you voted red, you certainly believe that, now don't you?
You would think so. Yeah. This is Darwin's Family Crest. That is Derek. This is Jeremy. And, as we're wont to do lately, we're fucking hitting it hot. So what's up, my brother?
Yeah, dude, it's just, we're kind of firing into this whole idea of there seems to be this enigma out here to where, like, I don't know if it's not specifically entitlement, and it's not specifically like, I have a right to do things, but it's more along the lines of, like, right now, I think there's a divide between what acting responsibly actually gets you.
Yeah.
And because I don't think that can be disputed. Like, even if you don't want to wear a mask, like, I kind of feel like since Trump hasn't conceded or whatever, but he's started to systematically drop his lawsuits and that kind of thing. And
no, let me correct you there. Most of them have been thrown the fuck out because they're so ridiculous.
Sure. So yeah, that's well spoken, by the way. He's still the rabid running dog that he's been for this entire time. I do believe that, like, maybe at this point that, like the right is starting to maybe do what they should have probably done, is just like distance themselves from the whole idea, and just like, hey, listen, like, even, I don't know, like, even George Bush like walked away, like whenever he took the L after not
Yeah.
getting the second term,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, and that, again, he was like, George Bush did much more better. I mean, and that's like, especially
Yeah.
for the whole, like, whole Middle East kind of thing, like that shit was tumultuous.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously it fucked up a lot of lives, a lot of families and stuff like that. But like, it's weird how like this, just the way that this pandemic has just absolutely, like, it is shortened the curve
Yo,
for the average American.
it's literally, if you could say, okay, we were talking Civil War, like either
Yeah,
last episode or the one before. If you could say that slavery was the impetus for the first one, I could almost argue that the fucking my rights is going to be the impetus for this one. And my right to fucking infect or be infected is more important than the fucking greater good. Does
sure,
that make sense? I mean,
absolutely. It
there's a
reads.
fucking civil war at the horizon line right now that's coming, and like
Yeah.
the Million MAGA march, and like, what the fuck is going on, man? I just,
Well,
it's so ridiculous at this point. I don't even know, like, I cannot, I have never seen a more clear-cut line than the fucking insanity of the far right and the far left, It's just so fucking crazy to me.
so my wife and I were talking the other day,
My
and
wife.
my wife, fortunately, again, still married,
Mhm.
happily,
Hell
um,
yeah.
which is good because I've been home for a little bit. Um, and by the way, anybody that's getting the YouTube video feed, yes, I have slightly changed the orientation of our feed here. So I I'm comfortably sitting in my leather chair, and I
Hell
like it.
yeah.
It's
Hell
very
yeah.
nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
That's gonna be the one right there, though. You just wait. That's how she heard that. No, like, where. All right. So I think the end all be all with this, because if we're talking about Civil War, is where we fall in terms of our lunacy. Okay.
Like
So
Captain America versus Iron Man.
yes.
No, go
You-
ahead. Sorry.
So no, well, so I mean, I think that sort of gets to be like, who ended up playing War Machine in Iron Man 2?
Um, it was Don Cheadle,
Yes,
I think, because it
100%.
was it was Terrence Howard before, right? In the first
Yes.
one,
Well, I mean, yeah,
like for Penn,
they had to get rid of him because
because
that
penis
just,
too small.
it doesn't read, does it?
No,
Like, I
no,
mean,
it
and
doesn't.
anything called War Machine, I
Yeah,
mean, A, you've got to be alt-right, and
yeah,
B, you
yeah.
cannot possibly have a small penis.
That's true.
So let's go back to Civil War and the idea of how Black Lives Matter. And in Civil War, I don't believe in this one that they necessarily will as much, in terms of that big S word that started the first one.
Uh
Okay,
huh.
because we can't even talk about it without having to be about the left. So we want to try to stay as partisan as we can here at this point without saying fuck Donald Trump.
Whoopsie daisy.
Mm,
That
uh,
just came right out.
we'll catch it in the edit.
Here,
Um,
here.
uh, what I will say, though, is I think if you were to say that, like, let's just back this back, let's just say 6 years, okay, and we say, all right, well, like, and you say, what is Obama doing about all these school shootings? Because that was the ire that he was drawing at that point, because there was no hope for Connecticut, there was no hope for Missouri, there was no hope for like there were no answers. Like if there were no answers for Virginia Tech. Like and but yet at the same time there was no accountability necessarily put on Donald Trump for police brutality at any point.
Yeah.
All it was hunkering down. And like if you look at things in that and that like in that strain where there was like according to the right there was causal between school shootings and Barack Obama, and there was causal between let's say there not being a solution. So there was a projection of uncertainty and the Democratic Party and that kind of thing. What clarity has Donald Trump provided in curbing police brutality? And if you're starting right there, it sounds like that ends up being like on the verge of them's fighting words for the right. Like just from the start, because like you have to like, because otherwise what you're saying is that there is a like an overwhelming sort of, you know, a similarity in the whole idea that the police brutality is occurring where white cops are like effectually you know, brutalizing you know, what would be I guess black perpetrators at that point, to the point that it's become excessive and deemed excessive on probably like 3 dozen accounts at this point, especially because there's been new stuff this week. There was a guy in my God, I think it was in I'll have to look that one up, but might kick it to you while I look it up here. But does that read that like there's absolutely no accountability for Trump on police brutality versus like how Barack Obama was viewed against not being able to stop the school shootings and being resistant to having you know, like armed guards and stuff like that at the schools? Like does that read at all in terms of like divisiveness?
As it turns out, I've been trying to interject for a while, but my mic was muted. I don't know how the fuck that happened. So that's good though, because I wanted to interject about I've never muted my mic in like 60 episodes, and anyhow, I wanted to go back to you saying about Donald Trump basically blaming Obama for the mass shootings and saying how it didn't happen under his watch and everything. I mean, look no further than Stephen Paddock and they call it the deadliest mass shooting by one individual in modern United States. It happened in October of 2017. Looks like he killed 60, wounded 411 by gunfire in Las Vegas. It was at a fucking Jason Aldean concert, folks.
Jason Aldean.
Like, yep. Of all places you think you're going to get shot up, it's like that's a right festival if I've ever heard of it. And fucking Stephen Paddock fucking went nuts, y'all. And I don't remember hearing any kind of anything about Trump, like, but you know, fucking bring up Sandy Hook to this day and it's somehow Obama's fault or it's fake, which is equally troubling, you know. And that's I don't know why. Worse than Columbine, worse than anything. Sandy Hook fucking sits in my craw as the worst one. It just upsets me to think of because it was in a fucking grade school, man. Like I could get emotional just thinking about it. Like it's, and then for him to try to blame the sitting president for that, it's like, okay, but what about your accountability on something like the Las Vegas mass shooting? What about the fucking Derek Chauvin fucking prick? What about you know, Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I mean, you could argue that at that level, at that tier, other than like legislature change, what could they do? You know what I mean? But to like point fingers, motherfucker, every time you point a finger, you got three more pointing back at you.
Back at you,
So like
absolutely.
maybe fucking open up your eyes and look around you, because guess what? This isn't a mass shooting, but you're fucking burying bodies daily because of your stupidity. Let's fucking fire Fauci. Let's fucking get rid of the task force. Let's just, fuck it. We don't have to wear a mask. I'm getting angry just thinking about it because,
Sure.
I mean, it's just fuck, man.
Yeah. It's like accountability. I mean, and just the search for it, and or maybe the lack of it, like when it comes to the blinders that this country's had on Trump. And it's like, for me, like it's like I'm not going to disclose how I voted, but I mean, for someone to look at my vote and say, well, did you vote for Trump or against him? Like, that is so fucking dismissive, and I've seen that so much in the last 3 weeks, and it's just it's on the point of like treating actual voters as like ableists at this point. Like,
it's no better than fucking certain warehouse workers that are no better than a number. That's all we are, is a vote,
and again,
don't get into it. Don't have to get into it. I'm just saying, like,
but
it's ridiculous how bad, like, certain, and the fuck of it all is, in a pandemic state, a lot of people feel like that's their only option is warehouse work and stuff. And there's a lot to be said because it keeps the supply chain running and everything. And I'm all over the fucking place. I'm sorry, but like, we are more than fucking numbers and the blood that lubricates the gears of the machine.
Sure. And like again, I don't want to be the first person that says that, like civil war is going to be a result of how things have been handled for the last two presidencies, because I think civil war, if it happens, it will be completely contingent on 45. And just the rabidness of the fans of 45.
Yeah.
And
I've never seen anything like it, man.
It's because it hasn't existed. It literally hasn't existed. I mean, like, this is why that they use, like when they talk about Trump, they use such strong words as xenophobia and fascism and stuff, because we haven't seen it since Mussolini, and we haven't seen it since like what was it, the Axis of Evil.
Yeah,
like
the Axis of Evil, fucking Hitler, the
Third
Reich.
40s.
It's just
the Third Reich, dude. Yeah, like it's just, I mean, it's like, because I told my wife the other day, that like I'm giving everybody in this area until I'm gonna give them till March, all right, but if I see any Trump Pence stuff up through March, I'm just going to make my own stencil, and I'm just going to start stenciling over stuff. And it's just like the stencil is going to be really, really going to be, it's going to be quick. It's just going to say racist, and then on the top, and then bigot on the bottom with a line through the middle. And like, because that's what you're saying about your life and your lifestyle, and that at that point, because there isn't anything that in his politics that, because I mean, it's crazy. I saw this video on Instagram the other day, and like I will happily tag this video in this episode. You've got to see this guy. He's absolutely he's roasting his like his old lady or his girl or whatever. Like, her dad's firing off the mouth about Trump, and he's just saying. He's just saying, all I'm saying is Trump's done more for me in 4 years than Barack Obama ever did for me in 8. And then the guy just he erupts. I mean, like motherfucker goes like Pompey. Like, this guy should be like, his Instagram name should be literally John Pompey. And he's just like, you've got 2 DUIs and you haven't worked a day during Trump's fucking presidency. What the fuck has Trump done for you? And like his girl who's like filming this or recording this entire thing, she's just cackling like a harpy in the background, just because the dude locks up and he's like that fucker doesn't care about you. He's like what are we talking about here? Like you've been in jail during Trump's fucking presidency because you can't stop drinking and find a job. Yeah. Like and you're talking shit about a guy like you mean you're like this guy like he's like what the fuck did he do for you? And it's again she's just wailing the entire time, and it's like but then again that is the American dream right now. The American dream is just saying, look, at least he wasn't the black guy. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like.
That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to, because I'm not here to deify fucking Barack Obama.
No.
I don't think you and I have seen a truly great president in our lifetime. And that's from either side of the fucking aisle, because, every 8 years up until this one, it's been like a lane switch, and it's been the same shit. It's the same goddamn shit. Anybody that wants to make and deify a fucking president and act like they're doing anything on a day-to-day for you, just, you're not keeping track, man. You're not paying attention. They don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to sound so dismissive, to sound so goddamn misanthropist, but, like, they don't.
No.
And like, the libs are just as bad. But the conservatives, if you're making $30,000 a year like we do, they don't give a fuck about you. They do not fucking care. They would rather fucking walk on you than they don't care, man.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And like, it all comes down to fucking money. Obviously, the almighty fucking dollar, and we're not making enough of it. So
money and votes. I mean, like I said, I think you had to create a scenario to where you could turn certain character traits into being political values. Yeah. And I think I would say this is probably the best it's been handled probably since Lincoln, like to get Trump into office.
Yeah.
Like between 16 and 45, I don't know that anyone's used race as effectively to get into office as 45 has.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that is not exalting in any way. Like,
it's disgusting, man.
It's filthy.
How are we still having this conversation? Like, we're literally, the world is trying to fucking retake us. It's trying to fucking kill us off, and we're fucking still talking about melanin in skin. Why? Why the fuck do we care? Why does anybody care, man? I don't fucking understand.
You know what I like, if I was this interested.
No. Let me just finish this thought, because
please,
I'm not trying to minimize the strife of the black man. I'm not trying to minimize the strife of the Native American, the Aboriginals, any of that. What I'm saying is, why does Whitey give a fuck if somebody's black, red, yellow, anything at this point? Why the fuck? Because we're the outsider, man.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. we're the fucking Anglo-Saxon, all from fucking Europe, pieces of trash that we are. We're fucking trash, and we're fucking trying to act like the original peoples are wrong. Fuck me, man. Like,
yeah, dude, to pretend that we're white in some way, like it's like even now, it's like I don't even know I identify as a man. I don't even know if I identify as a white man. I just, like, if you look at my bio, I would just say I'm a citizen of the universe.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I've kind of just subscribed to that. Like, anymore, I just want something that looks and feels something similar to it doesn't fucking matter. Like, when we look in the mirror, and it has, but it's,
could we?
But it's mattered during his entire term, and like, I'm tired of it mattering. I'm sick of it mattering. The thing is that if it matters so much to the right, about like, let's just say that the right has a strong automatic preference for white guys. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the breakdown of the virus? Who are they killing? Like, who's the virus killing? And
That I don't know. I'm not
well,
keeping track of that shit because it scares me, frankly. But
well, what I can help you out with is that white males largely are found that get it. They do not have a specific enzyme that breaks down the uh, the so okay. There's a condition in white males specifically that's been recently tested, I suppose, that that it appears that we lack above white females and male and female POCs.
yeah,
Like when white males get it, we tend to not be able to like stave it off as well.
lucky. The
So
white man's burden.
how about it? Or what? How about privilege at this point? Like, like, how did we end up on that side of the scale where we're tipping it at this
Look,
point?
I am nowhere near devout or anything, but that sounds like a literal biblical plague to me at this
It
point. It's
sure
like, all right,
does.
Whitey, maybe it's time you get fucking humbled a little bit, right?
Yep. I mean, it kind of doesn't it kind of go back to that whole idea, and again, not our Nick Mullen ethnic friend, but like, doesn't that feel like another chin check in a way,
Yeah,
where it's like, look, y'all been fucking up for a bit now,
yeah.
and
I've given you a lot of fucking leeway here, but come on, man.
yeah,
The
a lot of lag on
apprentice
that road.
guy? The
Yeah.
apprentice guy? Come on. It's time to get humbled a little bit. 2020 is going to be your best year ever. Let's see about that.
Yeah, I just can't look. And the thing is that I like what I'm seeing more of, and this is probably more representative for my life because
My
it's
life.
it, oh shit, we may we're gonna have to cut some time on that because that would actually hit hard.
No.
No, that's good. I got a guffaw out of that one.
My
So
life.
my life.
Anyhow, sorry.
No, you're
Continue.
no, we need it. We need that deep gut laugh in our lives. No, it's
yeah.
the fucked up thing is that shit's busted whenever sports doesn't know how to handle it, and like 3 out of the 4 sports like sports franchises right now, or sorry, the sports leagues, they're shitting bricks. I mean, because I have to, like, nobody considers hockey part of anything anymore. Baseball just finished up, so we're looking at college football, regular football, and basketball,
Yeah.
and 3 out of 3 of them are just, they're voting. Look, the money's more important. Press forward.
Yeah.
And to the point that, like, in the start of the
That's kind of the new beatitude, isn't it? The money's too important, press forward. I mean, call that every fucking warehouse industry, call that every fucking supply chain thing. The money's too important, press forward. We got a surplus of people putting applications in because nobody has a job, so keep it going, you know? If you're fucking professional sports, it's like, we paid you a lot of money in advance. You're gonna do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and yeah, because those, especially the NBA, where those contracts are fully guaranteed. The NBA was arguing over 9 days. It was literally between December 22nd and January 1st as start dates, and overwhelmingly the board of directors and the Players Association voted for the 22nd, because if they started in the fiscal new year, the NBA was stood to lose $1 billion.
Wow. In that little amount of time.
$1 billion. That's right.
Huh.
And I should let you know that out of all of the sports that like bubbled and have like recently concluded, the NBA is starting, like, they ended second to last and are starting first.
Huh.
Just to put things in perspective, like the NFL is willing to move the Super Bowl as far ahead as April if
Wow.
certain people get sick. Okay,
Wow.
because they already admit that like nobody wants to go see a football game, even if
It's
it's in
goddamn two
Tampa.
months, man. That's crazy.
I'm saying,
And
yeah,
the
like,
NBA's crazy about. Wow. That's
hmm
insane.
yeah. So like, I mean, we don't
There's
talk
some
about.
money in it, folks.
Oh, clearly, and
We should
there's
buy a
yeah,
sports team.
yeah. I've been talking about it. I mean, it's funny because like Steve Cohen, who is, I believe he's the richest man in Nevada.
Yeah.
He just bought the New York Mets, and there are certain words you don't say whenever whenever you're talking about expectations and that kind
Like
of
New
thing.
York Met.
Like, yeah,
You
you would
don't
certainly
want
start with expectations in New York Mets. Those
that.
are places to start. Uh, by the way, shout out to my buddy Joe. He's an avid Mets fan, and God love him
Sorry,
for it.
Joe.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a hard thing to bring up. You know, I think I'm glad
It's
that
better than
Thanksgiving
being a
comes up.
Cubbies fan, but you know,
Well, I mean, a win's a win, and
true that.
but when it comes down to it, you know, like he said, you know, I'd like to see us, contend within 3 to 5 years. All that does is I mean it puts more like pressure on uncertainty, and like you might as well say, well, like we can't even treat 2021 as a wash, and which it should be, because if you think about it, nobody knows. I mean, because again, we talked about Pfizer, I think last show a little bit, and as far as I'm concerned, if you know if anyone should be trying to develop a vaccine at this point, there may be some people in South Central Pennsylvania that would be really interested in some of the preventative things that would help things out along
Mm-hmm.
the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, even whenever you hear about like just what it would take, like, so if you said that you would have to vaccinate your players and stuff like that, the vaccines are coming, I believe, in 3 doses at this point, to where that like each dose puts you like pretty much on your ass with the worst flu you've ever had for like 2 to 3 days, and you got to sell somebody on getting 2 more of those.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, if you're and you're talking to you're like if you're talking about a new guy that just put new money into this, I mean, I probably would like to see, I don't know.
Kind of a hard sell, my friend.
It really is. Like, yeah. Like, I mean, moreover, like, I mean, like, I don't think anybody is necessarily talking about return on investment about anything right now,
I
and
should
yet,
fucking hope not. After the
right.
year we've had, collectively, everybody, you
And
know.
yeah, and I again, maybe that's why I double down on the whole idea that like it's hard to have fate. It's hard to believe in fate when you can't have a reasonable expectation even for tomorrow, let alone for the end of the year, for your Thanksgiving plans. We're looking, I said we're into late Saturday night here at this point, and like we're a couple weeks away from Thanksgiving, and
Mm-hmm.
like I hope to be happy and healthy enough to be able to record a couple times more before we get before we're able to stuff our dumb mouths with turkey, and
I'll be
like
fucking pissed off if I can't get together with my family at Thanksgiving. So I'll just leave that at that. You can
sure,
infer or assume from that what I mean, but like,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
well,
I've been asked what I plan to do for Thanksgiving, which for as long as I can remember, 38 years old, it's go home to my mother's and have turkey dinner at my mother's. And I'm going to be fucking pissed off if I can't do it. But I don't
so
know, man. I think we're coming to lockdown 2 Electric Avenue here soon. It's
I
coming because
absolutely, and
they're going to shut everything down because it's fucking crazy right now.
yep,
It's
dude,
just, I'm talking, they thought it was getting bad before. hold on, hold my fucking beer.
Hold
I'm
my
going in.
fucking beer.
It's fucking
Absolutely.
getting worse, baby. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
By
it's
the
it's nonstop at this point. It's just, oh yeah, every hospital is overrun again, and fucking Rick Grimes is getting ready to shoot his way out of the hospital, and you know,
Oh man, I can't possibly even delve back into that because I've probably said I've probably shown my my grime stripes too many times.
oh well.
But I will say though, it just to put a bow
By the
on
way,
meals.
Lockdown 2 Electric Avenue is the name of the episode.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's you took the words out of my mouth,
That's
and like
fucking great.
I really hope that I could put some light on that episode name, because that's fucking gold. But like I may have some ep art already for something that I sent you earlier.
Yeah.
Since we were so generous to talk about Thanksgiving and the expectations of things and whatnot, and in a lot of ways, sports has kind of cleaned up a sort of muddy situation in the South. Especially, I would say NASCAR has done better for itself because a
They
lot
got
of
rid of
this.
the nooses, so
Yeah, they
that's
got rid of
pretty
the
good.
nooses. Yeah, they've largely been able to eliminate the Confederate flag and that kind of thing. I think Alabama
Hell
getting
yeah.
rid of it is a big deal. Michael Jordan actually owns uh, a, uh, a NASCAR company,
He
or
doesn't. Are you
he does.
serious?
He absolutely does. Yeah, yeah. He
Wow.
bought it. Yep, he bought it in I think it was the end of August, early September. He's actually an avid NASCAR fan. He grew up in North Carolina, so
Yeah.
like he watched it his whole entire life, and
Huh.
he got nobody else other than so he's a co-owner with Denny Hamlin, who is a current NASCAR driver, and their sponsored driver is. I mean, you can probably see where this is going, but it's Bubba Wallace. So
Bubba Sparks with 3 X's.
there you go.
Yeah,
But
I see where this is going.
so no, but this I swear to Christ, this isn't a bit like all like this is on the level here. And that's why I'm happy about like I'm happy to report the successes, but then again, I mean, as with our unfortunate superhero chin check, we have to deal with the idea here that there's a downside to every up, and enter Justin Rayum, who somehow thought that it was appropriate to um, ice a toaster strudel earlier this week. I believe it was Wednesday night into Thursday morning, or technically, I guess if he's running some pretty late practice sessions, it was probably just late Wednesday night for him, around 3:30 in the morning. Pretty much, iced a little, sort of substitute Pop-Tart treat in the form of a swastika. And then
And it wasn't like a juvenile elementary school swastika. It was perfect form and function. He definitely nailed it.
I
The it looks like a swastika. So
I would have guessed he probably would have had to lick icing off of a protractor. The right angles were
it
that
was
sharp.
it was perfect. I mean, the only thing it was missing was a Hugo Boss suit. So
Hey. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Inglorious Bastards, go ahead and turn that one on. We'll definitely pay dividends on that back end. But and my partner is 100% right on this. There is absolutely no love lost on the attention to detail, and of course the explanation of it once this came out, because I believe it was published as his Snapchat story.
mm,
Somebody took a screenshot of it because, believe it or not, I don't know if people know this or not, but I don't think we've developed enough enemies. But your enemies will start to follow you, and they will skewer you if you're doing the wrong thing. And somebody did, and
yeah, that's not a good look ever.
It's
post
not.
1945 or so, I'd say. If you're not in the heart of Germany, you're
Yeah.
probably you're gonna get some looks for that, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like I said, that's one of those sort of unfortunate situations, not just because of the timing or even the sentiment at that point, but I mean, it's just one more it's just one more unnecessary sort of like 2020 footnote that like I mean I how extra do you have to be like that you need to get your name in like in the headlines and then to disclaim it by saying it was taken out of context. I mean, unless your 4-year-old
Taken
daughter,
out of context.
that was how this was framed. He said
I was just acting incredulous. I read the report after you sent it to me, but yeah.
yeah.
How
So
do you frame that? I don't
yeah,
understand. Like
dude.
taken out of context. It's a fucking swastika.
Yeah, like I mean, I can't even come up with. I mean, my fantastical mind says like, hey, maybe the way that like if you just like drop like pecans or coconut flakes like on there, that like the raspberry icing will just like it'll adhere perfectly, and you get a little bit of crunch and every little bit. Like I've diffused all of that crazy and fantasticalness.
Yeah.
What it says to me is that uh there's no end to 2020 even into 2021 because
Yeah.
it's 2020 has now become a way of life. It has been a frame of mind. It has become something that has sort of transcended. Like
Well,
there's no
there's dumb fucks, bro. There's dumb fucks out there that think that January 1, 2021, it's just all going to magically disappear. Like when that crystal ball drops in Times Square, it's going to fucking just, well, that was a bad dream.
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
more likely it's going to be January 1, 2020 again, and we're in Groundhog's Year, and we're just going to keep doing it over and over again.
Dude, the same people were saying that the virus was going to end on November 3rd. I mean, and if anybody learned anything, is that the fucking election didn't even end on November 3rd. And
November 3rd. They said it was going to end in Easter time too. Well, Trump said that. So.
right. Well, I mean, for those that are pushing the political aspect of the virus and stuff like that like Black Lives Matter and COVID were spoken in the same sentence because they were political matters, not matters of society, like somehow falsely invented by the left or whatever. Like,
I think
guess
there's
what?
a lot of grieving families that would disagree with that.
Well, I mean, the newest one is in Michigan, where there's a 25-year-old gentleman that was tased 7 times, and it took 6 police officers after like repeated punching, and like it took him to say "I can't breathe" and scream George Floyd for them to like literally just
They
give
let
him
him
some.
up?
Well, they gave him some fucking room,
Okay.
and but
Oh,
there it's so funny. This dude.
fuck, I thought I missed a copycat. Jesus Christ.
No, this is just another incident from Thursday. I've got to, like I said, I caught on this one a little bit late, and I felt bad about it because
Six officers.
six
And
officers.
and he has to fucking say George Floyd's
George
name.
Floyd, and I can't breathe.
Like, what was the size of this guy? Is he a fucking Viking berserker or something? Or is he just one black guy that they can't fucking... oh my god, I can't stand that he has melanin in his skin. Fuck people. Fuck Whitey and Dawn. Jesus Christ.
I'm saying, and I'm just going to be honest with you.
Alternative title, fuck Whitey.
Yeah, dude.
And it's the scene from Black Sheep. Where...
Yeah, well, I want to hear like I just wish I could hear the actual like radio chatter whenever because they called like the 2 or 3 like attending cops that absolutely could not subdue him. Like I wanted to hear that radio call because there's already been an officer that's been put on paid leave because of striking a man in a prone position at this point. So he's already on paid leave, but like I everything inside of me, like I think about that radio call and it's like I go back to like 1994 in Howard Stern's Private Parts where he's recreating the helicopter and he's like, and it's just like, Mama, look a boo-boo day. Mama, look a boo-boo day. And then all of a sudden, like 3 other cop cars show up, and then there's this cackling female officer that is just complete, that she just zaps this dude like 7 times, and he's even like, you tased me 7 times, you tased me 7 times, and then like at that point he's just being incredulous, and he's just like, George Floyd, and it's
man, like his nerve endings can't even feel it at that point, you know.
Well, I mean, people's nerve endings should be standing on fucking end at this point. Like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
I agree.
Like, and it's again, it's not stopping, and that's why people, like, god damn it, like, it's fucking crazy how people think this shit's gonna stop. Like it's gonna freeze at some point. You know, we're gonna cryo freeze like Demolition Man, and all of a sudden all the restaurants are gonna be Taco Bell when we thaw out, and like coronavirus is gonna be gone. Like,
look,
wake
I
the
don't
fuck
think
up.
I don't think you and I are without sin, and I don't think that we're like the best allies in the world or anything, but I fucking am an ally, and I will forever fight for your right to be whatever goddamned color you were born, because we fucking didn't ask for this life. You know what I mean? If you come at me with love and respect, I will always reciprocate, you know? I don't fucking understand this world, man.
Yeah. Like, I care about my life, and I care about my 4 walls. I care about my family's life. And then next, I care about your family's life. I care about your life. I'm non-discriminatory when it comes to caring about people. All right. And I don't, why is that asking so much in 2020? Like, it seems like it's asking a bunch in 2021 too, because
70 million people voted for the fucking enemy. The literal fucking mark of the beast, the devil, man. Like, you want to talk about a fucking example of hell on earth.
Yeah. Honest to God.
Man, I'm fucking hell and brimstones in this one, aren't I? It's like you would think I'm a devout Catholic or something preaching, but, and the funny part is, they're the motherfuckers that stick up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Having paid for 6 fucking abortions, and he's the pro-life choice. What the fuck are we doing, man?
Yeah.
Nobody's got anything right anymore, man. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, not to be lost in this whole fucking mix is how quickly he was able to just absolutely desecrate everything that Ruth Bader Ginsburg stood for in that lost Supreme Court
Fuck
seat.
him for that too.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, he can fuck right off and die as far as I'm concerned. Like, I mean, I don't know if that makes me a bad person or whatever, but especially after
let it. Because guess what? A woman gave you life, you fucking ruthless cocksucker, you know? And to act like women don't have rights and can't fucking aspire to be what she was, fuck him. I'm so fucking done thinking about this Cheeto motherfucker.
You know,
there's definitely a dividing line. I didn't like the Clintons, just to fucking counterbalance that, folks. Right. If you made it this far and you've heard me spewing hatred about Trump, I didn't like the Clintons. I thought Bill was a moderate president. I thought he was half decent, but Hillary was fucking just... And then you figure out Bill was like fucking king shit on Epstein's Island, and it's like, oh, well, that's why I didn't really get a good feel for Rapey McGee, but, you know.
Yeah.
I'm done ranting. I'm sorry. I don't like politics, is the long and the short of it. I mean, we've discussed this. Problematicast is going into that fucking so much. But the problem is, and I think that's why that show never really took off, is we take too far of a middle of the road fucking centrist. You have to take a stand.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Trump is a piece of shit, man. I'm not saying Biden's the answer, but we need to steer away from the fucking extreme right here. We need to fucking get this back to a little bit, some semblance of normal. And it's gonna take more than Biden's presidency. But I still have hope for humanity, man.
That's why we do this, right? I mean,
that's why I fucking continue to breathe because I have faith in humanity. I have people that I consider friends that I would fucking not be happy if they weren't around anymore. And that's why we're still here, man. That's why we're still bitching about it, you know?
Yeah, I think the most accurate take that I've heard during this entire time on Joe Biden, for anyone that's thinks that just his attitude and his demeanor is a deterrent and that kind of thing. I had someone like very eloquently sort of just put things in perspective in a way, and I think like to just summarize, basically, I think Joe Biden is it's sort of that follow up, that rebound after a bad bad relationship.
Yeah, I've been calling him a stepping stone. I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah, he's a rebound is a good term for it as well. It's like, okay, America, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, but
yeah. Like
I'm probably not going to be the one that fixes this. But
yeah, like if you're in a bad relationship for for 4 years or something like that, like normally the person that you, I don't want to say settle on, but like the next person that you choose, like it's not that it's not gonna be great, it's not gonna be the best ever, but it gets you out of the toxicity.
yeah,
And maybe that's just, it's just the breath that I think this country needs. Like it's the breath that I think both the right and the left need, man. I mean, both the Reds and the Blues, like maybe just let's just do purple for a half a minute, just kind of see where that goes.
no, but you're
I don't.
too good of a person. I mean, I could say that too. It's like this is supposed to be a melting pot and everything. You're far too accepting in the. I mean, a lot of Republicans even voted for Biden and everything, but like the far right of the whole thing is the toxicity that needs cut out, and I don't know how to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Internment camps, maybe gas chambers.
Well, I mean,
It's so funny.
I sort of hope that there may be, I mean, and I've sort of seen a little bit of this firsthand, because I'm very close to a local butcher shop, and I'm realizing that people don't know how to feed themselves whenever the cow and the pig start to die down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe some of this starts to actually just kind of revert back to the natural selection, because, I mean, I think there could be, I mean, I'm not saying that like Dr. Fauci specifically is pro Biden or anything, because I don't believe that. I believe that he is a down the middle civil servant that has been a very, very functional and positive down the middle civil servant for this entire time that he's served this country. But what I will say is I believe that he thinks that, and if he thinks that during the time of let's say what's that, what, oh my god, what do you call it, vaccine testing and that kind of thing, like during this very, very important and pivotal period, like that we're already approaching a very dark winter where like we're going to be incubating ourselves essentially at this point, and we need to we need to be able to hunker down at this point, like being able to maximize and being able to I'm sorry, maximize your minimum in a way, like to be able to do the most with the least, and like to be able to be, smart and frugal, but again, very forward thinking, and knowing that you have to do certain things in order to get past these hard times and these difficult circumstances. Like it's the only thing that helps us progress. And it's not just through this whole bit, it's through the fucking, it's to better it's to better the society. And because I mean, again, I don't sit well with the fact that this virus has killed 230 plus thousand people, but I can completely rationalize with the thinking of the average person that I meet that doesn't believe it, that doesn't think that it's happened,
Yeah.
that doesn't believe that it's relevant, that doesn't think that I mean, again, that thinks that somehow this fucking thing still, like, hinges on an Arizona recount. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
fuck out of here, dude. Do you do you think turning Arizona red is gonna somehow stop the virus? Like, I mean, seriously,
These are the cocksuckers that think it doesn't exist, or that people aren't actually dying, or there's falsified records, or fucking Sandy Hook was fake, or 9/11 was a ruse, or fucking David Copperfield didn't make the Statue of Liberty disappear, or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I watched. It's so funny. I watched Body of Lies yesterday, and it's actually it's a better movie about the Middle East than I gave it credit for the first time that I watched it.
Yeah.
But I also realized that the average the average full 45 supporter is basically Russell Crowe's character in that movie, where you're being told that you need to take these steps in order to do things the right way. And he's like, "Oh, I hear you, boy. I hear you, boy. I hear you, boy." And then
fuck you.
Yep, and you have he has his own agenda and just supersedes shit and just like arrogantly steps on the entire situation. And really, but somehow has the finger on the pulse of has all the information, but doesn't know what to do with it. And it's a learned ignorance that there's no reason for. I mean, there's more than enough reassuring information out there that can just get you square, I mean, and this, as far as I'm concerned, this podcast included, I would hope people would think that about us. Like, we're not trying to steer anybody the wrong fucking way. We care about like our listeners as much as we care about the average human man, the average.
No, because I try to stay middle of the road, but if you're fucking up, I'm gonna spout off about it,
Yeah, our biggest thing is accountability on this show, I think.
It always has been.
It always has been.
We don't suffer stupidity, and we don't want you to fucking just could you at least be accountable for the bullshit you're doing?
That's right. I mean, we're not asking you to fucking learn Latin or anything like that, but like, we put it in both. So non patti habitudium is don't suffer stupidity until time stops. And, that's on the shirts, that's in the rhetoric, that's in the show, that's in the fucking hosts. So, I mean, you guys get it. Y'all been listening for a half a minute. So, that puts a half a button on tonight. Just think we should probably thank Patrick Glover and our boys from If Not For Me for the use of still frame. And again, this
still hits as hard every time. You know that?
It's
every fucking time. It's just
such a banger. Yeah.
If nothing else, I'm ready for this virus to be gone so they can fucking get out there and tour again and release their full length they're working on. Because Jesus Christ, the shit we've heard behind the scenes is just, yeah. I'm ready for a full length album of If Not For Me. And thank you, boys, because it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, we're hinging the promise of a new day on your new album, and maybe some social gatherings, and
did you speaking of behind the curtain a little bit, did you happen to see his Facebook post today? He was arguing with what he thought was a spam bot, turns out to be a real guy, saying that he's not even the guy in the picture, that was telling Pat he's not the guy that's in the picture of Pat's Facebook picture.
No,
and he's
I didn't
like,
see that.
You'll have to look it up after we get off, but it was It's pretty fucking funny. He's like, I'm pretty sure we fought with a spam bot for the last hour or something, and then somebody in the comments is like, no, I know that guy. He's pretty messed up.
I can't actually wait to chime in on that because I was actually there at that show whenever that picture was taken.
That's a badass picture.
We're
so fortunate to know that dude from the same fucking place, you know? It's odd. Very odd. And maybe when we both part ways with that place, we will fully dox that place. But for now, it feels like a QED moment.
Sure does.
We were going to do a Panecdote, and we hit exactly an hour on that recording, so it feels pretty good. I feel like I may have needed 3 really shitty light beers and a little bit of talking to, fill out my night. So,
well, and I do apologize for because I went full soapbox whenever my partner's mic went muted, and we're just gonna have to deal with that.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're straight. We're gonna straight hotbox it.
No, and I'm leaving this all in too because I thought it was funny. I was like, I kept mentioning Stephen Paddock and you didn't bite, and I said, but like the Jason Aldean show, and you didn't bite, and I'm like, oh fuck, it says mic muted right on the screen. I didn't even look at it. I don't know how I did it.
No, it just sucks because like I didn't stop talking, because I usually hate those episodes, and I that's a little behind the curtain and that kind of thing because I
love it. Well, DFC at gmail.com.
Yep, DFCpod at gmail.com. I'll swear.
Quadi Rut Demonstratum. Don't suffer stupidity. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Later, y'all.